What's up, YouTube? My name's Derek Peterson. I'm with Saturday Out West. It's our Pac-12 site. The guy joining me on this video is Spenser Davis with Saturday Road, our ACC site. Spencer, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm stoked to talk about Florida State. A lot of interesting stuff to cover. We've got a lot of ground to go through here.
We do, and we're going to try to do it pretty quickly because this is take number 3 on this stupid Florida State video. So
Stupid.
I'm going to we go from talking about Clemson and USC and Texas A&M, and now we're talking about Florida State, which, like, are they going to win 6 games? Are they going to win 7 games? Are they going to have a losing record again? That's what we're here to talk about. Perfect cue up. FPI has them 31st nationally. Gives them an 85% chance to win 6 games. Projected 7 wins for Florida State in 2022. So I'm going to give you the number of 6.5. Over or under?
Over. And I would take the over at 7.5 too, which may appear to be a little bit bold.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got five games that I would consider close to automatic in terms of wins. Duquesne, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Louisiana, and Boston College. Boston College, you can debate, like, that could end up being a tough game, but Florida State really should win that one. And then you've got 2 others at Louisville and versus Wake Forest, which are teams that Florida State, if they're going to get to 8 wins, which might need to happen in order for Mike Norvell to get another year, they probably need to win at least one, but maybe even both of those games. And then, look, you've got 5 more games against teams that are probably better than you, but it's you've got LSU, NC State, Clemson, Miami, and Florida. You got to win one of those, or maybe 2 if you split the Louisville and Wake Forest games.
Well, let's just go like through the schedule. What's the likelihood this team starts 2-4? Duquesne to open, LSU, and Brian Kelly's first game as the LSU coach. That one's
in New Orleans,
a neutral site game, but it's in New Orleans. They play Louisville next. They play Boston College. They play Wake Forest. They play NC State on the road, and then they play Clemson. Duquesne and Boston College, you expect them to win those games. I like Jeff Hafley. Maybe we shouldn't have Boston College as just an earmarked win for Florida State, but like those other 4, I mean, there's a chance that this team starts 2 and what would that be? 2-4. Like that's a problem if you're Mike Norvell, because this team has been notoriously slow starting under Mike Norvell. Now, like I think you mentioned it, they closed strong 2021, but they started 0-4 last year. They started 1-3 the year before that. Like, if you're saying like they need to get to 8 wins to save his job, is his seat already a little warm to the point where if you start 2-4, it gets pretty rough. It gets pretty hairy pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this thing could spiral pretty quickly because, the Clemson game is their 7th game of the year. So it could potentially be, a 2-5 start. But that's why those games against Louisville and Wake Forest are so critical. Louisville in week 3, Wake Forest week 5. And then, you got to take care of business against Duquesne and Boston College. And then, look, I mean, NC State is a team that Florida State could beat, but it's in Raleigh. So that's a tough ask the week before you host Clemson. I think if they can get out of this stretch at 4-3, that would be awesome. Because then after you play Clemson, you have Georgia Tech. So now maybe you're 5-3, and then you only need to win one of your last 4 to even make a bowl. And you've got Syracuse and Florida State there. So, if you take care of business against those teams and then beat your rival Florida at home to end the year in the regular season finale, which they almost did in Gainesville last year, then that's Florida State's path to 8 wins. And I don't think it's that unrealistic.
I was going to give you a hard time for pointing out to all of the internet that I don't know how to do basic counting. Because I was talking about 6 games, a 2-4 start, and I included Clemson in that. And you're like, yeah, that's 7 games, you dummy. It could be 2-5. And then you're going through and you said they got Syracuse and they also got Florida State before they play Florida. They play Louisiana. The Raging
Did I say Florida State? Yeah.
It's fine. We both had a flub. It's fine. They play Louisiana on November 19th.
Yeah. Sorry. Georgia Tech, Miami, Syracuse, Louisiana, and then Florida to end the year. So, look, Miami is a toss-up game. We'll see what they are. I'm pretty high on them. But Syracuse and Louisiana are obviously games that Florida State should win no matter what. And frankly, after what happened last year, they need to beat Florida in Tallahassee. So Yeah, I think 8 wins is reasonable.
Is Jordan Travis an 8-win quarterback?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's like a national title winning quarterback. But I think Jordan Travis is good enough to get you 8 wins. Especially like this Florida State team has some pretty impact transfers come in this year. They got an edge rusher named Jared Verse from Albany, who was a little bit under the radar, but is going to be a stud this year. They also got a couple interesting offensive players that you may know from Oregon, Trey Benson and Micah Pittman. Those two guys are going to have an impact. Winston Wright, I think, is going to have some sort of an impact on the offense. A receiver from West Virginia. So I mean, yeah, look, they kind of reloaded some of this roster in the portal this year, and their recruiting class was not as good as people thought originally because they lost the number 1 kid in the country on signing day, which was a debacle. But they still got enough impact guys in that class, especially on the back end on defense, that I think they're going to be able to piece it together to where they can get to 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, I think it says something good about your program that you're able to attract Power 5 transfer players. It seems like most of their guys were guys moving from Power 5 school to Power 5 school. I mean, that says something good about Mike Norvell. I guess my question is, like, and you've talked to me about this before, the ACC in terms of offensive talent seems to be loaded next year.
The quarterback,
particularly the quarterback. They've got a number of high level quarterbacks. So, Florida State's going to meet Malik Cunningham. They're going to meet Sam Hartman. They're going to meet Devin Leary. They're going to meet whoever plays for Clemson. They're going to meet Miami's quarterback.
Tyler Van Dyke.
Thank you. I'm blanking on his name. They're going to play some of the conference's best quarterbacks. And, I guess, you would know better than I do. Is their defense going to be able to handle that? Or are they going to be in a ton of shootouts? Because if they're in a ton of shootouts, Jordan Travis is the swing guy. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, that's a great point. If I don't know that Florida State is a team that's going to win a bunch of shootouts this year, but I think the defense is good enough to limit some of those teams and to give this offense a chance. Look, from an outsider's perspective, how many wins does Florida State need for you to give Mike Norvell a 4th year?
As somebody that that hears a lot of grief about Willie Taggart as a head coach, as somebody that pays attention to Oregon, I would venture to say that the way Willie Taggart left the program was pretty wayward. And if you're able to, would this be year 3, get to 7 wins?
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be pretty good. It's Florida State, so
7 is fringe. Yeah,
7's probably not going to feel great because it's Florida State, given the way that the last few years have gone. But I just think, Willie Taggart took a rocket launcher to the team, to the program. So it takes you a couple years to rebuild from that. So
so
much of it depends on context. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. So much of it depends on context.
I agree.
It's about if you start 2-5 to the season, and then what do the 5 losses look like? Are they close? Are they competitive? Are they blowouts? And then if you can get to 6 wins, still with a 2-5 start, you're probably feeling better. You've built yourself some positive momentum again. You start slow again and you don't have the close that you had last year. So much of it is on just how the record looks. 7 wins is different a bunch of different ways.
I think 7 wins, if one of those 7 wins is a win over Florida, then I think he probably gets another year. Or at least gets to coach the bowl game and see how the bowl game goes. Most of the time these days coaches get fired at the end of the regular season for recruiting purposes, but occasionally we do see a post bowl game firing. But yeah, to me, the games that I would circle here are obviously Miami and Florida. They're both November games, both rivalry games. The other 2 games in November are frankly walkovers in Syracuse and Louisiana, or at least they should be. So, look, if you can split those 2, which they did last year, they beat Miami last year, and then they lost to Florida by 3. But they really need to beat Florida this season, and they could, because they're probably not going to win at Miami against the Mario Cristobal team, right? If 7 wins and 0-2 in those rivalry games, I don't think would be enough to save his job.
No, we'll see. I'm very excited for LSU Florida State on a Sunday night, week 1.
Yep.
Brian Kelly's debut at the Superdome. It's not exactly a neutral site game for Florida State, but it should be fun nonetheless.
They'll have some fans there too.
And it'll be, yeah. They travel well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you're playing LSU in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun, good atmosphere in the first week of the season. And it'll be a nice little preview of what's to come.
No doubt.